Hello everyone, 95% Rookie here. Just wanted to showcase a little bit of the weapon handling, which is a big upgrade over Arma 3 and Reforger. Just to show you one detail for the M16A2, the burst fire mechanism is incremental, or how would you call it? Basically, when you fire, say I fire 2 rounds, when I press it again, it's on burst fire, it still only fires 1, because that's how the interrupter system works for the burst fire mechanism in the M16A2. So that's a pretty neat little detail that you don't see in many games in terms of gun realism. And then it will empty the whole magazine. And this is still an alpha, so there are issues with these systems, but to show you what I'm talking about. So you see there the bolt held back. So in real life, how this works is when the magazine is empty, the follower goes up and hits the bolt release, or the bolt hold, whatever you call it, the bolt release, I guess. So that little notch thing forward of the select fire mechanism and forward, like above the magazine catch, and the it holds the bolt in place so that when you put the next round and you hit that button, it'll load. So just to show you how that happens, so if I reload here, I hit that button and it locks the bolt home. Now we have 1 round there. Also, 1 in the chamber is simulated, so now there's 30 rounds in the gun. If I were to reload a second magazine, now I have 31 rounds in the gun. So that's also much loved from Arma 3, which didn't have really any simulation in that way. So now what's interesting here, if I were to remove the magazine from the gun, and there's an animation for that, where you don't put a magazine in it. So there's 1 in the chamber still. So if I were to fire this 1 round, the bolt doesn't actually lock back. Now, what you would do in real life, because there's no magazine holding that bolt release to lock the bolt back, you will have to actually rack the bolt with the charging handle on the back in order to chamber around. So let's do that. Okay, it didn't actually work. Okay, let's try this again with the Grenadier, see if that makes it better. So we'll unload the magazine. Fire the last round, reload. And there we go, the charging handle locked back. So I guess it might be a bug with the M16A, the A2, the regular variant without the Grenadier, but there you saw there was no round in the chamber, no bolt held back, and you pull the charging handle in order to reload that round. So, little bit of a roundabout solution. Obviously, this is an alpha, so that needs to be fixed, but the functionality is there, right? It's possible to do. Now, another detail, there's all kinds of stuff that you can look up, but I'll just, to make it brief, I'll use this one. So if you have your sidearm, let me get another magazine for it. So the way the Beretta works is the safety is also a decocker. So you see the hammer is locked back there. So basically the way this works is when you put it on safe, you'll decock it, and then the hammer will have to either be cocked back for single action, or it'll be a double action trigger pull, which pulls the hammer back and fires it. So let me just see, like, so if I lower it, which puts it on safe, you see it decocks it. It actually decocks the hammer. And then when you take it out, it's still decocked, so you don't really see the double action trigger pull. It's not any different, but it essentially works like double action. You pull it, and then the hammer goes back. And another thing is, so the actual slide will lock back on an empty magazine, because the magazine hold open or the magazine follower goes up on the slide release, and then so when you reload, it will, you hit the slide release, put the slide forward, and it's chambered. Now, it's a similar thing. So this is also buggy, I've noticed. So it doesn't really work the way it's supposed to. So you unload the gun, but the functionality essentially works. It's just buggy. So now if I fire, the slide will not lock back because there's no magazine in place to go up with the follower. So there you go. Now the only problem with this is when you reload it, there's no animation for racking the slide manually. I'm assuming that will be added in eventually, but so when you reload, I'll show you. You just it just automatically goes to that animation. But the functionality is there, right? It's very cool to see stuff like this in an Arma game, because Arma 3 really had no simulation of this stuff whatsoever. I know DayZ definitely had this stuff, and DayZ honestly even has better weapon simulation than this does at this point. But in a supposedly streamlined Arma game, it's nice to have features like this. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a few other details I'll probably make videos on, but that's just something that you might find interesting. Yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.